Hello everybody, my name is Chrome Drake and I'm here with a bit of a game and a natter. I really just want to make this video so I can talk to you about the state of my YouTube channel, or should I say our YouTube channel, and where I'm hoping to take everything into the year of 2016. Can you believe it's actually nearly here? But I hope that everybody has a happy Christmas or whatever they might be happening to celebrate at this time of year. You know, I hope that everybody has a fantastic one. I'm going to start off the video by saying that. I think that's a rather positive thing. So, I'm going to bring you a little bit of gameplay of Helldivers in the background, so I'm going to talk about this really quickly. So I'm going to be talking about this while I'm running around a game. Hello, look at my cape, my cape is awesome! And I'm just tell you about what's going on, and then we can skip straight to the actual talk about the channel. And there should have been a link to skip somewhere along the lines. So this is Helldivers. Helldivers is a game that I purchased pretty much on a whim to play with a mate of mine in cooperative play, and I didn't really know what to expect from Helldivers. I was hoping for an Alien Swarm style co-op experience, and I must say I have not been disappointed. This is Alien Swarm, as envisioned by the makers of Magicka, of course the mighty Arrowhead Studios, and it's got... I mean, the gameplay loop is fairly simple, but the actual amount of content on offer is very impressive. For instance, if I go to my armory, I've got all sorts of customization options for my character. You know, different capes. I don't know how to turn around to see my cape. Obviously, we can change our gender. You know, we got all these fantastic different outfits. You know, and then there's all this huge, whopping number of weapons, some of which I'm not unlocked yet. I think you need to get to a certain rank to unlock some of these. I'm not sure. I'm sure we will, though. And a whopping number of stratagems, which basically think perks that you can summon into the battlefield. Look at all these ones I have not unlocked yet. That you can summon into the battlefield. They're all upgradable, look. They all have little upgrade trees. That you can summon into the battlefield very much like you would cast spells in Magicka, or sort of a bit more of a Stepmania type thing going on. You have to sort of do a button combo. It's very interesting. And of course, there is a perks list as well. A couple that I've not unlocked. Well, quite a few I've not unlocked yet, actually. And, yeah, so it's an Alien Swarm style game. So, basically what I'm going to do, I'll explain briefly about what's going on. Super Earth broadcast! And the game is played, as you can see here, we're up to the Illuminate homeworld. It's actually, when I say a cooperative affair, it's actually a community-driven affair. Basically, the game is split, and this is the interesting part, into a series of rounds. And each round will last anywhere between 20 to 30 days. Here you can see how many Helldivers have been lost in the pursuit of, you know, bringing managed democracy and liberty to the evil aliens in the galaxy. And basically, at the start of a round, you start off on Super Earth, and then each of these segments or regions you have to capture. And you can see here these bars that the community works as a whole to attempt to fill up this bar, and once they've done so, the region is captured, it's under control, you can move on to the next regions, and you're aiming to get to the homeworlds. So we've got the bugs, who are very much the bugs from Starship Troopers. Do you want to know more? We also have the Illuminates, who think very much, what am I thinking? The StarCraft 2, Protoss. That's it. They're Protoss, but they're actually edging more towards Eldar, which of course is where the Protoss were designed anyway, but they've got more of the sort of ranged super equivalent of Eldar/Tau. They're a bit of a mix, I would say. From Warhammer 40k, for those who don't know what the hell I'm blabbering on about. And the cyborg world are, well, cyborgs, so they're heavily armoured man-beast machine things. And so that's the basic gist of the game, and then you go into a sector, and you have all these different planets that are all randomly generated, incidentally. And then you'll pick a planet, and there are all these different... we've only got up to level 10 here. You could actually go up to a level, I think, 12? Yes, the difficulty rank 12, which is Helldiver. And the difficulty levels are quite simple. 1 to 5, 1 through 5. You can probably do by yourself. 4 and 5 will be tricky. And from there, the difficulty ramps up like you wouldn't believe, and is all about the squad play. So if I click on a planet, for instance, you can see here there are missions in the planet, and this will randomly generate a load of objectives in the map. And the maps aren't too complex, but they're complex enough. A load of objectives in the map that you then have to complete. And I must say, there is a fantastic variety in objectives, like escorting, even sweeping an area for mines while you're coming under attack from enemies, assassination runs, you know, picking up and sort of carrying cargo from one place to another. It's really good. Even calling down a whopping great big nuke to destroy the bug nests. It really is an awesome experience, especially if you've got guys to team up with to play. So if I select this planet, for instance, we'll see this fantastic hyperspace thing. I'm now warped to the planet. There we go. I can enter these hell pods, and I can sort of set up where we're going to go. So yeah, that is Helldivers in a nutshell. So I'm going to actually now switch to other me, who is going to be talking about the YouTube channel, if you're not there already, and I will be just running the gameplay in the background. Hopefully I'll find a group of people to play this game with. So I will catch you then. See you in just a moment, guys. Hello guys, I return and here we are loading into a game. This was a good one. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Unfortunately, Jaeger, who was the host, left pretty much immediately, but that was fine. That was okay. We had some good games with him, and somebody else who was pretty decent joined in as well. This is one of the final missions playing in the background of this particular planet, and it went quite well. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. Anyway, so yeah, what I really want to talk about is the channel and where it's been and where it's going, especially as we head now into 2016. And I think I started the channel maybe about 3 months ago. Must be coming up to that, maybe 4 months, or 4 months at the end of December perhaps. Not entirely sure, but it's been great. I've been thoroughly enjoying it. I mean, I started this as a project just for fun, just to give me something extra to do. And slowly but surely, it's been growing. It's been an absolute pleasure to see. So guys, if you've taken the journey with me thus far, thank you very much. You've been fantastic. But it's also a case of, this last week though, I kind of came to this impasse where I realised that as a YouTube channel, as a content creator, as the channel grows, which it is slowly but surely doing, it's not just my channel anymore. It's actually everybody's channel. All you guys who come here and watch the content, who comment on the videos, you know, who give me support with the likes of whatever it is you're doing. You know, it's not just my channel, it's your channel. We're all here to enjoy it. I want to record video, I want to share it with you guys, and you guys are actually kind enough to put up with my little idiosyncrasies, and hopefully you enjoy watching what I do. So, really, I'm starting to understand now how the whole thing grows, and I like the idea of this community aspect, as small as it may be right now, as things are, sort of starting up. But it was also a case of, so I tried to do some more content on this channel as well. So I sort of, as people have seen, I came to the end of my Sorcerer King Let's Play, and I came to the end of the Blood Bowl campaign, and then I put in some Thea the Awakening and Shovel Knight. I would like to also mention at this point that Blood Bowl is not gone by any means. In fact, I'm hoping to start an online league team later on this week. With, I think, Make It Corny is the team name, though I'm going to double check it. Just to make sure, and I think I've got currently 3 people with names lined up for the team, and I will of course fill in the other names as I go, probably not to any specific theme, just what I find amusing at the time. So yeah, first things first guys, if you want to get your names down for the team, we're going to have, Minotaur is already taken, or the first Minotaur is, hopefully he will have a long and happy career, stomping heads and thundering onto the pitch, but we do have some 3 Chaos Warrior slots and a lot of Beastmen that need names. So if you guys would like to put your names or creations forward, then you'd be more than welcome to do so, and we'll see you on the pitch and see how you perform. But as I was saying, so, those series kind of came to an end, and then I started Thea and I started Shovel Knight. And the thing is, Thea is a 4X game, sure, but it's not usual 4X, it's got that survival roguelike element. And then, of course, Shovel Knight is an action platformer very much in an older vein. It's got hints of Mega Man, well, still doing its own thing. Now, clearly, a lot of people who came to this channel came for the strategy side, either Blood Bowl or Sorcerer King, so either for 4X or for, well, turn-based strategy, I suppose. And some of you guys have also mentioned to me that you would like to see a XCOM Let's Play, particularly with the Long War mod, and we'll talk about that just a little bit later on. But it occurred to me that with stuff like Shovel Knight, fine, the DLC is probably current, but the actual game itself isn't quite so current. It's been out now for a little while. And it also occurred to me that you guys who've stuck with me so far are a different audience and an audience I could cultivate, no matter how small, on Shovel Knight. Fine. So I like to talk about this, I like to talk about content, because like I say, it only really hit me that, yeah, I would have to get multiple audiences, and this is going to be reflected on the way the, stats on the channel look and all this stuff, and I realise that probably looking or paying too much attention to the stats on the channel at this point might not be the best idea, just for the sake of my sanity, if I'm perfectly honest. But yeah, I mean, so what it boils down to though is I would like some suggestions of what you guys would like to see. Whatever audience you might come from, whatever games. Now, me as a gamer, I started off my gaming career on first-person shooters, particularly my online one. In fact, my first online FPS was actually Tribes 2. I didn't do too much with it. I sort of progressed, I think, fairly quickly to Day Defeat. And Tribes was forgotten in the midst of time. Though, don't get me wrong, beautiful game, but my connection still wasn't quite up to snuff when I started to play. I've always hated high pings and lag. I've got better with that lately. But in a game like Tribes, so you have to sort of pre-fire or, sort of... When momentum is such a big deal and none of the weapons are hit scan, that was an issue I never really got to grips. But the start of my online gaming life was very much action-based first-person shooters, which, I've had problems for a long time, which I'm not going to go into on this video. I've already talked about that on other videos before, small health problems. But I found that because I was naturally pretty good at them, I could work off reflexes rather than having to think about things too hard. So, having said that, when you get games like Counter-Strike and now Rainbow Six Siege, which I'm having a lot of fun with, where you have to know the maps like the back of your hand, you have to think about crosshair placement, you can't just rely on blind raw reflexes, then I have a harder time, but I'm enjoying now learning it. But lately, and this is where the 4X stuff has come from, I've got into a position where I can now think more, and now I'm thoroughly enjoying playing the slower paced games that require a bit of cerebral thought, if you know what I mean. So I like all sorts of things. I like action, I like strategy, I like to take my time, I like to go in guns blazing. So what games would you like to see on the channel? And on that note though, we're going to come back to XCOM, because some of you guys did talk about doing the Long War Let's Play. And here's the issue with that, is that if I do a Let's Play, in general, I want to have at least some grounding, I at least want to have a chance of making it good. Now, there will probably be some Let's Plays in the future where I'm going to be, I will go into it pretty blind and we can learn together. That will probably happen, but the majority of the Let's Plays I want to do, I want to know that I at least understand the basics. And the reason this comes into XCOM is that I played it when it first came out at a time where I really wasn't dealing with games. I couldn't stick with them. I didn't have the focus and the staying power to stick with games for a long time. So XCOM I only really beat on normal, and that was, I don't know, a year ago, maybe more, when it first came out anyway. So getting into the Long War mod now, especially when I was ramping up the difficulty to Classic, and I have had a go on that, it was great fun, though I must admit, oh good god, the thin men piss me off. I'm sure most people have encountered that before. It was just bad luck on my part. But so the thing is, I could play the Long War mod, but it would take me some time to learn how to do it. And I'm not entirely sure that I'm in a position to do that just at the moment. I mean, I could be. If there was enough demand for it, then I would actually go out of my way. For you guys, we'd have some fun, and I'd surely name some soldiers after people that wanted to be named, and we could see how you go. I think that's very good fun. So it's a possibility. But like I say, so when I'm looking for suggestions, they are suggestions. Don't give me a suggestion and expect me to do it, is really what this long-winded thing is all about. There's a very high likelihood that I just won't have the time or the energy to learn what I need to learn to do Let's Play. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't suggest. And please do. I would thoroughly appreciate it if you did. So, yeah. What's the next point I want to make? The next point I want to make is that I moved house in May, so hooray for that, I survived. But the other thing is I kind of lost a very, very good little webcam I had at the time, and it's taken me quite some time to get around to getting another one. However, I now have another one. So, if I get over the screen fright and everything else, that also paves the way and opens me up to doing some streaming, which would be great. And again, I need some thoughts for what to do on a stream if you guys are so inclined. Now, I mean, there are various things I could do. I mean, there are roguelikes, such as Nuclear Throne, more action-packed things. Heck, even some Helldivers, as you can see on the screen. You know, we could actually get a little group together and do a Let's Play or something like that. Even stuff like Dwarf Fortress. I'm actually very into Dwarf Fortress. I would call myself a competent novice, however. I can get a working fort going, but when it comes to stuff like power and things like minecarts and whatnot, those are still very much a work in progress. you know, I can get a decent fort going. But hopefully they have just updated Dwarf Fortress, and it's a very exciting update, I think. It may not be too big on the sort of gameplay front, but in terms of the world and the extra generation, it looks magnificent. You know, the fact that, you know, they will write books, they will perform dance, they'll create poetry, you know, all that sort of stuff. It just adds to the world. But they also have fixed pathfinding. You see, before, in the last update, they actually Toady, the Toady one, got the game to a state where the armies walking across the world was actually simulated. And this presented some problems. Say I pissed off the goblins. If the goblins couldn't get to my fort, then, well, I'm part of an empire, so rather than actually going to attack my fort, they would go and attack the rest of the empire, and they'd probably pretty much ignore me. So in a game that's called Dwarf Fortress, where you'd expect there to be things to besiege your fort, it really didn't happen very much for me in the last update. I got unlucky, but hopefully now that'll be sorted. So as soon as the lazy new pack, yes, I know, I'm not that hardcore. As soon as the lazy new pack has come along, that's an idea. But again, anything else you guys like to play? I can definitely up for some multiplayer games when I'm streaming. I'm not so much about collabs. I'd like to get to know people a bit before I did collabs on the YouTube channel, I think. So I hope you don't mind that. Speaking of collabs, that's something else I like on the channel. I definitely think some gameplay co-op content, or even fun little content, just one-off things such as Duck Game would be a great thing to do. I love the idea of that, you know, finding some people to get together for just fun little runabouts, have a great laugh. And on the subject of collabs, well, I'm not going to say much, because I really don't want to spoil it. But there are things in the pipeline, and I know I've teased before the idea of extra stuff on my channel that was going to be co-op way back when. But now it actually seems to be happening, fingers crossed, and there'll be more about that soon. But what this all boils down to is I want to do a lot with the channel, right? I think that's pretty obvious at this point, and this is why I was having sort of a crisis with it, because I just didn't know where to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself a schedule. Now, I think it's pretty obvious at this point that I should probably always have a strategy game going on my channel. And so at the moment, it feels like that strategy game should be the centerpiece, along perhaps with Blood Bowl, which is going to probably be a long-term thing. I hope you guys agree. So my suggestion is that the strategy game, the 4X, whatever it is, not sure it's going to be Thea. I'd like your thoughts on Thea as well. I don't know what legs that game has. So do let me know your thoughts on that. But at least 2 days a week, I will try and put... My intention going into 2016 is to put up one video a day. Okay? I might not hit that every week. I might, you know, be a bit lax now and again. But that's my goal. That's the goal I'm going to set myself. That pretty much plays into what I can do with my health and my energy. So this is what we're going to try first, and of course as I go on I'm sure it'll get easier and quicker for me to do these things, and I can add a bit more and more. So in that week I plan to do 2 days where that strategy game is featured. I plan to do at least 1 day of Blood Bowl, hopefully 2, and on the rest of the days they will be whatever I feel like, which I feel is a nice compromise, because then I can sort of play games that maybe you guys don't enjoy, maybe some of you don't enjoy, maybe some of you do enjoy, and maybe we can suddenly go, hey, there might be some guys wanting to watch this, a good number of you, you know, all of a sudden. And that would be great, because then we can sort of discover new things to put on the channel together that way. And the best thing you guys can do for me is to keep talking to me, tell me what you like and what you don't like on the channel, especially down in the comments below this video. Your input is going to be invaluable. And together we can sort of really get things rolling. That is my hope. Also, I need to, of course, create a schedule for streaming. Now, to begin with, I'm probably just going to announce it a couple of days before and see how we go. Now, to me, it seems like streaming, I need to set aside at least 2 hours of my time, ideally 3 or 4, to do a good stream, which is something I am in a position to do, but as always, I get a little bit worried about doing this because it's just a case of, is my energy going to let me down? So if I do start streaming, guys, it does come with a small caveat, and this shouldn't happen often. It comes with a small caveat that I may need to stop early simply because I have an excruciating headache or something daft along those lines. It's life. We just have to deal with that. I'm afraid this isn't a job. This is a fun hobby. So that's where we're going with it right now. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about, really. So I hope 2016 is going to be a fantastic year for all of us. I am going to wish the very best of health, great health, absolutely, to everybody going into 2016. And of course, good gaming. And I shall leave you with the destruction that's apparently going on the screen in a minute. It's absolutely glorious. And I hope you enjoyed the talk and the gameplay. So guys, let me know what you think. Your feedback is absolutely... Well, I wouldn't say... Well, your feedback is highly needed. Is needed the right word? Valued. I think valued is the term I'm going for. Yes, your feedback would be highly valued. And so please get talking. I will respond. Alright, so I'll leave you with that for now. I think I've witted enough. So thank you very much indeed for getting this far in the video. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for sticking with me through my YouTube career, my YouTube life so far. My name's been CoOp, and I will catch you in the next video. Goodbye for now, guys.